Today was indeed meant to be a day off, but like they say, no days off in this field of work, so welcome back to your latest aviation recap where there's developments on the Airbus A380, 2 airline expansions, and some fantastic news at a carrier that was struggling back in 2019. Beginning though with Etihad Airways and developments around their own world's largest passenger plane, the A380. They've boosted service towards London Heathrow utilising this aircraft. In fact, a third daily flight has been added between Abu Dhabi and London Heathrow as part of their continued commitment to the city, which is ever growing. London remains a hugely pivotal part of the overall network if you take a look at the capacity that they offer, and at the beginning of this month, the airline deployed a further A380 to the route. And why I use this word is because now 3 A380s will fly daily between Abu Dhabi and London Heathrow. There is no other aircraft type featuring, it's just the A380. Close to 2,000 seats therefore, as a result, every single day will be offered to London Heathrow. Really taking a look at Etihad and the A380, the only reason this plane is back airborne with the carrier is because of this London service. The airline was one of the many that had retired and grounded the world's largest passenger plane during the height of the global pandemic. They believed that their future didn't consist of having this aircraft in its operations, given its lack of efficiency and other aircraft types that were more efficient and could do probably a better job, they would argue. However, with surging demand seen right across the industry and a significant importance placed on the London route, the company said it would return the type to service. 4 total A380s were said to be reintroduced to the fleet thanks to an announcement made in the latter stages of 2022. Etihad Airways says that using the A380 to its advantage and deploying it on service to London would not only aid the performance of this route, but it would actually free up existing aircraft to open up new possibilities and also increase frequencies to maybe destinations they've wanted to for some time. In fact, it's not been abnormal to see airlines utilize some more inefficient aircraft, such as the A380, as a bit of a short-term solution to navigate some of the aircraft delivery problems that we're seeing. This can be highlighted especially through your wide bodies. Focusing more on the A380 here, we know many airlines around the world pulled the plug on the aircraft during the pandemic. As travel demand had plummeted to zero, analysts and airlines really began to question the A380's efficiency at most carriers, excluding your Emirates and potentially Qantas. Many operators also signaled their own intent that they would no longer fly the plane, in a move towards more efficient operations and downsizing when there was no need to have such a large plane. Etihad Airways was one of those airlines until demand returned, and a high-capacity airliner was required. Interestingly as well, executives at the company flag that the customer's love for a plane such as this is another reason why they brought back the type. The reality is, people love flying on the A380, and the types of product that are on offer don't feature on any other aircraft. Norse Atlantic Airways has officially launched a new route from Oslo in Norway towards Bangkok in Thailand. Following the launch of this service, Norse will be the only carrier that is offering such a connection between the two cities and will be utilizing shock horror, its Boeing 787. The upcoming northern winter season is actually going to see the airline have a shift in focus for its route network, as it looks towards the very best attempt ensuring a more robust performance. Primarily for airlines such as Norse operating with a similar business model out of, say, a similar location, the summer demand is always going to be more substantial than the winter demand. For Norse Atlantic, their mission of this winter schedule has been to adapt and find ways in which performance can continue in an upward trajectory. To achieve this, an adjustment of its route network has seen the shift in focus towards more warm weather destinations. The warm weather destinations also include the commencement of their first route heading east rather than west, this being in Bangkok. With a full fleet of Boeing 787s, many people have argued that the company is Norwegian 2.0 in terms of long-haul flying, but the company has massively rejected these claims and says it is its own airline. Away from the new route launch, Norse Atlantic is also raising USD 45 million in additional liquidity. This is in a bid to tide over the slower seasons aforementioned. Also, Norse Atlantic wants to be able to settle ongoing obligations with critical suppliers. However, due to softening demand across upcoming months and financials therefore expected to be slower, it does want to be prepared. Sticking with Norway and over to Norwegian, where they've announced they've delivered a profit before tax of USD 195 million for the third quarter. This was a substantial increase from the same period 1 year prior, and does really represent a continued increase in profitability, which is fantastic to see. Norwegian says this is the highest quarterly profit since 2019, when Norwegian was ultimately a very different airline to the one we see now. It included the addition of wide-body planes. Operating revenues also increased across the quarter by 23%, which was solidified thanks to growing demand. 6.5 million passengers were carried during this quarter, which is also an increase as it looked to expand its network with the arrival of new destinations, returning ones, and frequency increases. The company says that load factor decreased by 1.4%, which is something we're seeing right around the world. However, capacity overall increased by 17% as things begin to even themselves out. Norwegian, during the pandemic, saw a major shift in focus as it looked to preserve the business and navigate significant losses. Losses that had gotten so bad, some people said the airline wouldn't survive a week. Well, thankfully they are still here today, but very much a changed airline. The most noticeable difference comes in the form of its fleet and route, with the removal of a wide-body operation that saw long-haul destinations feature. It utilized the 787 Dreamliner for these, and the shift in strategy saw them prioritize your narrow-body planes across European services only. The massive shift in strategy has actually thus far worked wonders for the company, as it has been able to execute a successful turnaround and offer what can only be described as a much more robust, but also I'd say appreciated service. People love flying Norwegian nowadays. Looking ahead, 2024 will be another very important year for the airline to cement itself as a profit-making company. They say that their summer schedule is already on sale, but for some exciting news, we should expect this month the announcement of more routes to be added to this schedule as they look to grow their fleet to approximately 90 aircraft too. A bonus mention for VietJet that have announced an expansion of service towards Cambodia, Indonesia, and China, connecting Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi from December of this year. All these new routes will commence utilizing their aircraft, and it is off the back of what has been an enjoyable 2023 thus far, with the airline reporting in Q3 a 127% rise on passengers carried year over year. That is going to conclude today's aviation news recap. Thank you very much for tuning into this video. Take care and please do be safe, and I'll see you next time for more coverage on the aviation industry. And we'll